What up, friends? I'm all by my little lonesome, but I could not leave you without for the fantasy football playoffs. Yes, it is Christmas Eve. Yes, I'm here. I will answer as many questions as I can. Ooh, got a little blurry there. As many questions as I can. Goal would be to do this in an hour, if at all humanly possible. All super chats and things are appreciated. Justin Parton with our first. Got to get creative today because I feel like we all have the same quarterback. No, you don't. I will say at quarterback today, you can get cute because the cheap guys are going to be really popular, whether it's Malik Willis, whether it's Gardner Minshew. I'll be honest with you, one of my favorite contrarian plays of the day is Sam Darnold because the Detroit Lions are not really good at stopping the pass. And I love DJ Moore today with Sam Darnold. So I feel like you can do a lot of things at the quarterback position. You're not shoehorned into playing one of the cheap guys. And when there are this many cheap guys, the expensive ones are going to be not necessarily contrarian, but they're not going to be as highly owned as you would think. Pat Mahomes. Yes, it's cold in Kansas City. No, I don't really care, and neither does Vegas because the over-under keeps going up. That is a game I feel like you need a piece of. There are several games I feel like you can completely avoid at all costs. Buffalo, Chicago. There is nothing in that I'm even kind of attracted to. Justin Fields, if you have to for some freaking reason. I don't know why you would have to, but if you do have to, then there is that. Michael Meadows said, Happy Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve to you as well. Glad that you have decided to spend part of your Christmas Eve with my dumb ass talking about fantasy football. Gage Camplin, Merry Christmas to you as well. Can we at least get till the inactive list comes in? That's why I started at 10:30, Matthew Hoffman, was that I could do this for an hour. The inactives would come down. I could slide by the grocery store on my way home because my lovely, very patient wife is making a gigantic Christmas Eve dinner that I'm not there to help with. So going to the grocery store is the least that I could do, especially with her patiently dealing with the fact that I'm here and have been working on Christmas Eve for a couple hours. Eric Miller, am I crazy thinking Derrick Henry somehow has a down game in this weather? You're not crazy, and you don't have to do it with Derrick Henry. I am struggling to find a way not to. If it was Ryan Tannehill, maybe I would get there. Malik Willis is enough of a threat running that you're not going to be able to just stack the box 8 deep. I feel like Derrick Henry's probably the no doubt number one play of the day. He's the running back I started all of my lineups with. Could it poo in my punch bowl? Beyond a shadow of a doubt it could. But I don't think it will. Running backs we will get into over the course of this here live. I'm going to try to stop moving because now that it's just me, this camera does not like when I move my head. So, Michael Meadows, Friend League Flex semifinals, Mark Andrews or J.K. Dobbins full PPR. Ironic that you asked that. J.K. Dobbins is one of my favorite plays of the day. I have struggled like hell to find a way to not put J.K. Dobbins into every lineup. I don't mind Mark Andrews. He's cheap on DraftKings. If you're playing him in your fantasy leagues, obviously he's your tight end. My question would be, who is your tight end? Or do you have to play one? There are a lot of leagues where you don't have to play one. But if so, I don't know who your tight end could possibly be that you would be sitting Mark Andrews for them. But if you would like to update that, I will happily answer. But just between those two, I would go J.K. Dobbins. Brent Cottonola from north of yonder. Merry Christmas, my friend. Got to start 2. Devontae Smith, Ramondre Stevenson, or Kenny Walker. That's a good question. I like Devontae Smith today. I'm in like with him, not love, because I feel like A.J. Brown, even though he gets Trayvon Diggs, this almost feels like one of those games where Philadelphia's going to try to prove a point of, even with our backup quarterback, we can still smoke you with the one. I'm going to say Devontae Smith solely because I don't see a way he doesn't have a huge game. So it's between the two young running backs. I feel like New England's going to be down, so I'm going to go Kenny Walker. They're all three good options. So I don't necessarily know that there's a bad call in it, but I would go Kenny Walker, Devontae Smith. Our first
I'm your huckleberry
of the day from Gage Camplin. I appreciate all of those because these all go to me because I'm the only one that got here today. Tank and David Smith, I'm totally making a joke. Both with their families, totally get it. But I couldn't at least not do one of these for your fantasy football playoffs. Hurting at the flex, Singletary or Tyler Algier. I don't love either of those options. Let me check. This is one I'm going to have to actually go to my ranks on. I know who I want to say, but I want to make sure I'm not going against how I ranked this. At running back for me today, Devin Singletary is a high-end running back 3. Algier is the bottom tier of running back 3. So for me, it's Devin Singletary. It's closer than the ranks make it sound. Look, this is a week where you're going to get a ton of cold weather games that are really windy, almost impossible to pass. And so I'm going as heavy on running back as humanly possible. When you see games like this, you tend to see a lot of carries. These tend to be really fast-paced games and lower scoring. So I'm going to say Devin Singletary. Like I said, I don't love it. I also don't hate it, though. Let's see. Gage Camplin, Minshew's going to light it up. I 100% agree with you. Merry Christmas to you as well, Matthew Hoffman. Chris D, Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson, or Noah Fant. Don't trust Malik and Okonkwo today. If you can play Taysom Hill at tight end, do it. I'm considering playing him in a lineup at quarterback on DraftKings. I want you to think about what I'm getting ready to say. The Cleveland Browns have been god-awful against the run. Andy Dalton has been god-awful, period. How do you think this is going to go? I see a path where Taysom Hill takes no less than 30 snaps today. And I could see many of them coming at quarterback. He basically served as the backup to Alvin Kamara last week. Now it's really cold. It's really windy. I love Taysom Hill today. If you have to play one of the other two, I like Juwan Johnson a lot. So because they have no receivers. There's no Olave. There's no Landry. Michael Thomas I actually think died because we haven't seen him in so long that it's about the only explanation I got. So I would go Juwan Johnson if you had to play one of the two natural tight ends. Let's see. Chris D followed that up with the Bucks D or Cleveland. I will go Tampa. I feel like New Orleans is going to be able to run on Cleveland. I don't think it's going to be great. It's the lowest over-under we've had in the NFL in 20 years. So I don't think you can go wrong necessarily with either one. The Bucks have they have a better upside. David Elliott, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Choose one to bench. Michael Pittman, DPJ, or I'm going to assume that's Christian Watson. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have to bench one. I'm going to say DPJ. That Cleveland game, the weather in Cleveland that's probably the gnarliest place on the schedule. Indy, that's in a standalone on Monday night. It's in a dome, so I can't sit DPJ because I don't think they have anybody to really stop him. And then Christian Watson they generate touches for him to such a point that even if the weather was bad, I wouldn't care. So, yes, it's DPJ by quite a bit. Tom Dennison, start Justin Fields or Daniel Jones? I don't hate either one, but I would lean to Justin Fields just because of the running upside. I could see a path where he doesn't complete a pass in this game, and he's still relevant. So I would go Justin Fields over Daniel Jones, but I think you can play either one with a good amount of confidence. Michael Meadows, I can play tight end and flex. Oh, and he has Kelsey. That's how he's sitting, Andrews. So it would be Kelsey Andrews or Kelsey Dobbins. I would go Kelsey Dobbins. I don't love Tyler Huntley. And with how just god-awful this weather's going to be, I don't know that you don't see just a ton of running. So I'm really high on Dobbins. Laura and Jim Cooperman need one running back, two receivers, and a flex in PPR. Rashad White, Deontay Foreman, Tyler Algier, Ayuk, Lazard, Chark, KJ Osborne, or Gage. All right, so I'll go Ayuk because that's in a non-weather game. Any of these where you ask me a game with a receiver that's not in weather, I'm going to lean to them. For the other one, I'm probably going to say DJ Chark. I feel like J.C. Horn probably ends up on Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that the wind is not that bad here. At least it's not as bad as I'm being told it is in other places. So I would say Chark, Ayuk, and then the running back is Rashad White, and I would say Deontay Foreman in the flex. Yeah, I know the Lions have been good against the run the last few weeks. Deontay Foreman catches passes. I think he'll be just fine. Tammy Buchanan says she got hosed on Zay and Bam. Yeah, I didn't see that being a Evan Ingram game. I also didn't see Zach Wilson being the worst quarterback in the history of football. Do I play Mostert, Rashad White, or Zach Moss? Desperate. If you're desperate, I will say Rashad White. Mostert is probably the safer of the three plays, but desperate for big points, I would go Rashad White. Also, help me. You're my only hope. Stick with Mike Williams or insert Drake London, Chris Moore, or Marquise Goodwin. Help me to win the champion. I like Marquise Goodwin a lot today. I don't know that I can tell you to play him over Mike Williams. The thing that would make me nervous about Mike Williams is he's probably going to get Stephon Gilmore. So that makes me think he probably has less of an upside. I can't go Drake London with Desmond Ridder. I just don't think they're going to throw enough. Chris Moore's damn near the only receiver on that team. You know what? I'm going Marquise Goodwin. See, that is the highest over-under of the day. Seattle's going to have to throw to keep up, and that Kansas City secondary is not that good. I'm going to go Marquise Goodwin. By the way, in DraftKings, Marquise Goodwin is a phenomenal play. Matthew Hoffman asked, how do you feel about Dawson Knox as a contrarian play? I don't mind it. I hate tight end today. I find myself going Jawan Johnson a lot solely because I don't know who they're going to throw to outside of him. They don't have anybody. I mean, New Orleans is going to have to throw at bare minimum 14 times. So where do the targets go? If they somehow manage to get in the red zone, Jawan Johnson's going to be the only threat they have down there. And I'm not sure Cleveland could stop it even knowing that. So in terms of Knox, I don't mind it. I just feel like there's probably better value. Man, I'm not sure how contrarian that will be. A lot of people are leaning on Josh Allen knowing that he plays well in games like this. He's not the only one that does, but we've seen him do it enough times that people don't care to pay up for him. Let's see. Kevin the PRF asking questions everywhere. Need 5 starters, 1 being a flex, no PPR. Running backs are Najee, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson Jr. Receivers are Judy, D-Hop, and Christian Watson. Okay, so basically I need to sit one of these 6. It's Jerry Judy with Brett ripping in the tear, and I'm just not sure I can count on that. I don't mind D-Hop with Trace McSorley. I just feel like he's so good that I could throw to him. Christian Watson, they generate the touches. I feel like that's a little bit of a shootout. Aaron Jones, same thing. Brian Robinson, you're going to see a lot of touches for him, and Najee's the same way. By the way, I could see the Steelers absolutely housing the Raiders tonight. Not because I think they're a better team, but the Franco Harris narrative is this is one of those times that I'm actually going to acknowledge that narrative. So I would say Judy is the one to sit of those. Landon Lombardi, I apologize that I missed your question the first time. Juju or Cordero Patterson? For me, it's Juju, and it's not really all that close. I just feel like Cordero's going to be splitting time. I don't think it's a super high-scoring game anyway. I want as many pieces of that Kansas City game as I can get. He also asked Taysom Hill or Darren Waller. Waller seems like the obvious answer, but at this point I don't know. I would disagree. I would say it's Taysom Hill. Like I said, I believe Taysom Hill has a carry floor of he is going to get touches because this team is Gnarls Barkley with no receivers in a very low over-under game. So I will go Taysom Hill. He's one of my favorite tight end plays of the day if you can play him at the tight end. I will apologize for the raspiness. It's like holy fuck me cold here. So just all of the things are struggling with how friggin' cold it is. Let's see. Divine Comedy, Pacheco versus Seattle or Kenny Walker versus Kansas City. Got both rostered. Who do I start? I would go Kenny Walker. I feel like Kansas City they're starting to trust Pacheco less. The fumble last week. I like Jerick McKinnon a lot today. I'm not as high on Pacheco. So I would go Kenny Walker and feel pretty comfortable about it. Kevin the PRF, Knox or Go Dirte coming back. Goddard coming back is what makes me like Devontae Smith less. But I still don't know that I care. So I'm going to go Dallas Goedert. Chris D, apparently I skipped his question. I apologize. I am not used to being the one doing this. Usually, there it is. I apologize. I didn't see it. Deion Jackson, Jahan Dotson, Mike Williams, Tyler Algier, half PPR. I'll go Deion Jackson solely because the Chargers are so damn bad against the run. I want to say Mike Williams, but that matchup sucks. So I'll go Deion Jackson, but Mike Williams reasonably close. The other two I don't like at all. I apologize for skipping your question. I didn't see it. I was jumping around to people whose questions were in two parts. So if I do that, feel free to call me on it. Sit one full PPR. This is from John Curtis. Dobbins, Mostert, or James Cook? I will say James Cook. I feel like he gets the lightest workload, and that's really what I'm after today. That's really what I'm after today. So, yes, I'll go Dobbins, Mostert. Itty Bitty South City 650. Man, that's an interesting name to say. Taysom or Okonkwo at tight end, I'll say Taysom. And I think it's pretty comfortably. I don't love Malik Willis. He's not a good thrower of the football. And if you go back to the Kansas City game, he didn't throw it much. So even though I think Okonkwo will probably lead the team in targets, I think Malik is borderline playable. I like Derrick Henry. I don't really like anything else for Tennessee. Christian Watson or Rachaad White in the flex. Ooh, that one's close. I'll say Christian Watson. Touchdown upside is much higher. Gray Ford, favorite milk bags, happy game day and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Our Detroit Lion fan friend. Chubb or Mostert, I will go Chubb pretty comfortably. That New Orleans defense is not as daunting as people seem to think. I mean, it's talented, but it hasn't been all that great. Let's see. Laura and Jim Opperman, thanks for the advice. You said Foreman gets receptions, but he's had 3 targets in the past 5 games. So Foreman can catch passes, and you have to remember in weather like this, there are 2 players basically that can catch passes for Carolina because they don't have a tight end. I mean, they have Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas, but who gives a shit? Neither one of them are any good. The wind is blowing to such a point that you're not going to be able to go over the top. So the Terrace Marshall thing, that's irrelevant. He may get a target today. Sam Darnold does not throw a great mid-range ball in the wind because he doesn't throw a real tight spiral. So he hasn't been getting the work like that, but the weather conditions mean that you have to revert back to what has happened with him in cold weather, and he tends to catch a lot of dump-offs in weather like this. Good question. I'm glad you called me on that because I'm sure somebody was very confused by what I said there. Justin Parton, Stevenson, Najee, or Mostert? I'll go Ramondre Najee, but I don't feel great about it. Ramondre is the one I feel really good about. Najee and Mostert are close. I liked Ramondre today. I do think they'll be playing from behind, and you can see him catching some passes as well. So in PPR, I like Stevenson even better. Rob Johnson said Donovan Knight and Christian Kirk screwed him in the Thursday night slate. The Thursday night slate screwed a lot of us, especially people that wear this shade of green. That was about as bad of a night as I think I've ever had, and I ended up just ridiculously hammered. Lucius Varenas 44, that's a new name. Welcome in. We're like an AA meeting for sports, so feel free to throw your drug of choice in the comments. Mine's the New York Jets. Dak Prescott or Gardner Minshew today. I am all over Mustachio Gardner Minshew. I like him better than Dak. Gardner is a top 10 play for me today. That Dallas defense is not as good as people think. I know it rates well. I get all of those things. It's not a good defense. They get home nicely with Micah Parsons. You're not getting home on that offensive line routinely. So now you're left with what's in the back half. I think Gardner's a cheat code today. It's hard for me to not use him. So I'm going Gardner Minshew, especially in DraftKings, but in season long and all of those things as well. Matt Chin, I believe that's a new name as well. Welcome in. We're like an AA meeting for sports. Feel free to throw your drug of choice in the comments. As I stated, mine's the New York Jets, and I've been doing it for 30 freaking years. 2 to start, Dotson, Dubs, DJ Chark. Dubs is the obvious one to me. And then I think I have to go DJ Chark. I'm just not – I can't justify playing any commander against San Francisco. And I've even said I think they keep this game close. I'm just not sure how. I could easily see it being gross and just not really palatable, and I don't really want much from it. So I will go Dubs, DJ Chark for Matt Chin. Itty Bitty South City 650 said, let's get this championship. Hit the like button. He's better at saying that than I am. Please hit that like button. That helps more than we could ever say. Your super chats are very welcome. We will do this up until the 11:30 inactives. Then I got to make a grocery store run and do all of the things because it is Christmas Eve. Rob Johnson, Swift, Jamal Williams, or A.J. Dillon? I knew I was going to get this question. I'm not sure that I wouldn't. Carolina's really good defensively. They don't rate that way because they put the defense in a shitty position a lot because the offense has been so bad. Like I said, the wind is not – it's not a huge deal today. I'm going to go Jamal Williams for the touchdown upside. Aaron Jones just – it's so hard to trust A.J. Dillon, and I can't really justify DeAndre Swift. He's the more talented of the two, but Jamal Williams is the greatest touchdown vulture of all time. Let's see. Gray Ford asked, George Pickens, Jameson Williams, DPJ. I'll go George Pickens. Jameson Williams is not getting the snap count. They're going to bring him in slowly. And I don't like the deep threat guy. If I'm playing a deep threat for the Lions, it's DJ Chark, not Jameson Williams. And DPJ, that game's just going to be so gross. Rob Johnson, DPJ seems to be having some chemistry with Watson, but the weather scares me. It should. Deshaun Watson has historically not been great in cold weather. And by not great, I mean not his normal self. and this is with less. Ugh. God, I hate that game. I hate that game so much. John Curtis, Fields or Justin Herbert? That one's close. I like both. I've got both in my top 6. I'm going to go Justin Herbert just solely because I could see him running one in. The Indy defense doesn't scare me as much as it once did. Yeah, it's Justin Herbert. It's close, but it's Justin Herbert. Chris D asked Brock Purdy or Gardner Minshew. I'm going Gardner Minshew. I don't feel like Brock Purdy has to be special and that Washington defense is pretty good. If you're telling me I get to go against the Washington defense or against the Dallas Cowboys, I don't have to think about that all that much. But good question, I would go Gardner Minshew. Kevin the PRF, it'd be epic if the Panthers give you a 2nd, 6th, and 7th this offseason again. Anybody that will give me a 2nd-round pick for Zach Wilson, frankly, I'll fly to New Jersey and put him on the fucking plane myself. You give me a 2 for Zach Wilson, hell, I might come sing to you. You give me anything for Zach Wilson, I'm in. Patrick Holt, Merry Christmas, my friend. Is Goff a good play today against Carolina? I don't mind it. I mean, to me, there are a lot of quarterbacks that you can play today. Just looking at my rankings and my projections, if you take out Trevor from Thursday night, I've got 18 quarterbacks that I could legitimately see playing. And that is with the projection that Russell Wilson's going to play. I have absolutely no idea if he's going to or not. I could see them shutting him down. It's one of those that I'll believe it when I see it. If Russell plays, then now I get to 19. And that includes Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Gardner Minshew. Jared Goff is a hair above all of them. But especially if you're playing DFS, I like Minshew better today with the price.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Camplin asks, what is Zach's biggest issue? Well, how much time you got? He's an entitled little cherub that, from everything I hear, is not well liked. And I just don't think he puts in the work. It shows. He gets worse every single week. He seems to understand the offense less every single week. And then I look at a guy like Mike White and even a guy like Chris Streveler neither one of you are nearly as talented as him, but you've got the work ethic, you've got the drive, and it shows. Mike White needs to drink more milk because his bones break at the first sight of contact, and, well, Chris Streveler is really just a gigantic mink-wearing Justin Fields because he can't really throw. So, I mean, Zach's problems are Zach. And I said this on a show yesterday. Could a team straighten Zach Wilson out? Absolutely. I don't think it's the Jets. I mean, I think the Jets can sit here and do this till kingdom come, and it's never really going to change anything. He's just he's a broken toy. And if somebody wants to fix it, great. I don't. Oh, my chair keeps adjusting and I'm sinking. Michael Meadows, consolation bracket, but determines draft order for next year. Fant or Bellinger, full PPR. Oh, I am the tight end whisperer, so I need to give you a tight end for today. Taysom Hill, I'm just drunk in love with if you have the ability to do that. Of a low-owned guy. In your situation, it's Fant. I don't love Daniel Bellinger today. I mean, I don't hate it. There could be much worse, but Juwan Johnson, if he was available, I would like him better. But between those two, it would be Noah Fant. Eric Miller, Drake London, or DJ Chark in DFS? I'll go DJ Chark. I think it's a higher scoring game. I just can't trust Desmond Ridder. What I saw last week was just awful. And I struggle to believe it's going to get a lot better. over the course of a week. I fully believe he's not an NFL quarterback. I said that when he came out. So I will go DJ Chark. Eric Bradley, Burrow, Cousins, Minshew, Darnold. Who do you play in DFS? I like all of those except Kirk Cousins. And I don't mind Cousins. I can't find myself doing it. I love Justin Jefferson. He is so damn expensive. And if you play Justin Jefferson, it's hard to put a lineup around him because I am paying up at running back today, one way or the other. So for me, that makes me lean more Minshew, Darnold. I think you will see Burrow be low owned. I'm not sure that it will be great, but I think he has a very safe floor. So to answer your question, I would go Minshew 1, Darnold 2, Burrow 3, Cousins 4. And like I said, I get Cousins. I just can't get there with the price. I think Gardner Minshew's the exact same guy for like $1,200 cheaper. Gage, I also was high on Zach coming out, and it's the pain of evaluating quarterbacks. You never quite know what the attitude's going to be like when you get paid. And his has sucked. George Cook, DJ DuVernay, sorry. Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve is to you as well. Hopkins or Montgomery, full PPR. I would go Montgomery. I feel like Montgomery is going to get at least a handful of targets and is going to get a ton of run today. I don't mind Hopkins. The defensive matchup is great, but it is Trace McSorley. So when close, I will go with the way where the tea leaves line up better, and that's with David Montgomery. Now to George Cook. How concerned are you about Kenneth Walker? Kind of forced to play him because I can't trust Deion Jackson. And do I play Burrow or Fields? And he's got Higgins. Today I would play Justin Fields at quarterback. I would trust Deion Jackson, and I feel good about Kenny Walker. I'm not overly concerned. I think if he plays, he's going to be leaned on. When the inactives come out, if Kenny Walker's name's not on it, he's going to get a shitload of touches because they wouldn't put him in a uniform with the risk of running him into the ground in a game they're going to have to score somehow. Kevin, the PRF, Dulcich or the Driscoll cheat code? I'm going Dulcich. The Driscoll thing just doesn't seem to do much. He's like a really poor man's version of Taysom Hill. And if I was going to do that, I'd rather just go Taysom Hill. Dulcich is a top 10 tight end for me. The target share is insane. He just does virtually nothing with it. I like Dulcich so much, and just watching him, it's frustrating. Rob Kane, Algier Goodwin, or Chris Moore, full PPR 14-team league. In that situation, I'm going Marquise Goodwin, who I, again, love today. Somebody's going to catch passes for the Seattle Seahawks, and they just don't have a lot in the way of receivers outside of DK. I like DK. I don't mind Geno Smith. But I like Marquise Goodwin a lot as a very cheap, valuable option. And in your situation, in a redraft, he is the best of those three potential options. Justin Parton, Thielen or D-Hop? I feel like it's got to be DeAndre Hopkins. I can't sit him, even with the quarterback situation. He's been fine with Colt McCoy, and I'm not sure there's a huge step down to Trace McSorley. It's not good, but I don't know that it's overwhelmingly worse than it was. Patrick Holt, who is closer to Charlotte than I am, hey, we hit 20 degrees already. So maybe it's not wholly fuck me cold like it is here. Because right now it's 4. That is what the screen behind my screen says, is that it's 4 degrees here right now, which is disgusting. George Cook said he's in Durham. I like Durham, and I'm there more for Duke games than I am for anything else. So I've never really gotten to see your town, but I would like to. Would you take the Saquon over 100 total yards player prop? Yeah, I probably would. I mean, I feel like they're going to have to do something. And they don't have there's just not a ton there. If you get past Saquon, what exactly do you like for the Giants? That Minnesota defense just doesn't scare me that much. And maybe I'm biased because I watched my pitiful Jets who should have beaten them. And Zonovan Knight was productive. Yeah, I would go over the 100 on Saquon Barkley. Hold said it was 7 this morning. It was brutal. It was 0. I woke up and I thought my phone was broken because it just said 0. And then I stepped outside and realized, nope, that's right. Kevin the PRF, don't like Cousins over Geno. I would play Geno over Cousins today. Much higher. I think a much higher ceiling. The Giants' defense is good. Now, they're not going to be able to deal with Justin Jefferson. I also like Dalvin Cook better today than I could see Cook getting a bigger piece of the pie than he usually does. I think he's a good play on DraftKings. And with Geno, you're going to have to keep up with Pat Mahomes, whether or no weather. I've seen Mahomes do this. So I do like Geno over Cousins. It's close, but I would prefer Geno. Rob Kane, Browns or Broncos defense? This one's tough for me because Vegas is telling me that the Cleveland game is going to end like 9-6. I just don't love that defense at all. The Broncos, on the other hand, are a good defense going up against just a god-awful LA team, and that over-under's not that. It's Denver. I'm not going to overthink. I'm not going to let Vegas screw with me here. It's Denver, and I like Denver a lot. I think it's one of my highest-rated defenses of the week because that's actually a good defense no matter who the quarterback is.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Camplin, I do greatly appreciate the super chats. Half PPR flex, Montgomery or Mostert, I would go Montgomery. I like David Montgomery a lot today. Oh, got another one.
I'm your huckleberry.
And it's a big old biggin from Stephen Towle. He said, while I have a second, just want to say thanks for the great year. Listening but still working too. Also, check your messenger and let me know what you think. Love you guys. We love you as well. And thank you for the wonderful super chat. Those make it much easier to sell to my wife. Hey, why did you have to go in for 4 hours on Christmas Eve? Well, see, but there was monies. I made monies. It makes it a little easier. We appreciate all of you. Stephen Tao, you have been one of the great listeners of this show from the very beginning. And even those of you that found us today. This has been such an awesome year. And I'm about as emotional as a serial killer, so there won't be a whole lot of that when it's just me. But I do greatly appreciate all of you guys. All of the kind words, all of the support, all of the likes, all the shares, all the everything. And I am stating this for the record now. And this is going to sound like a lofty goal when I say it. I am going to have 100,000 subscriber plaque behind my head this time next year. That's my goal. I know it's lofty, and I want it to sit right beside the belt, which I'm going to win over the course of the next 2 weekends. Ooh. God, I'm ready for it to warm up. I can't friggin' breathe in here. Gray Ford, I have a flex position question. Tony Pollard, Raheem Mostert, Taysom Hill. Damn, that's a good question. I hate Pollard's matchup, but I feel like he's so good that you cannot sit him. So Mostert for me is the one I'm putting out immediately. I want to say Taysom Hill. I feel like he's a cheat code today, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go Tony Pollard. Play your studs, and this is just one of those situations where, in spite of the fact I want to get cute, I can't. Eric Bradley, excuse me. Miles Sanders, Zeke, or Jerick McKinnon. For me, it's Jerick McKinnon, followed by Miles Sanders pretty close, and then Zeke drastically behind them. If I'm playing a Cowboys running back, it's Tony Pollard. I'm in like not love with Miles Sanders today. I love Jerick McKinnon. George Cook said, you don't know how much it kills me to bench Burrow for Fields, but I trust you. I can make that a little easier. Go to Twitter and search Boston weather. I did this before the show. There are pictures of shit blowing sideways that will make you go, okay, I feel better. I mean, I'm not telling you Joe Burrow won't outscore Fields. I am not taking that risk because the weather is dog shit. And I could also see a path where Joe Mixon has a big day. And you know why? Because it makes no sense. And fantasy football makes no sense. So why would it not happen? Rob Kane, so you would play Jones over Cousins. I believe that I would. I mean, I've got them ranked right on top of each other. I think I would play Daniel Jones. They're coming from behind. He's got the running possibilities. I could see a path that he breaks contain, maybe has a run or two, possibly gets in the end zone. Cousins, it's all Justin Jefferson, and I really think they're going to lean on Dalvin Cook today. I know that's not a weather game, but I don't really care. Patrick Holt asked, what's your favorite defense today besides San Francisco? Philadelphia. If you're playing on DraftKings, that is a layup. Philadelphia's defense is $2,200. What I miss? When did the Dallas Cowboys offense all of a sudden become this juggernaut that takes one of the best defenses in the league and makes them the third cheapest on the slate? That one's a layup. Philadelphia is the only defense I'm playing on DraftKings today. Now, if you're asking for season long, I really love Denver because the Rams are just god awful. I wouldn't mind New Orleans just because that over under is so low. Let me defer to the rankings here and see if there's one that's out of place. One that I have in the Tennessee Titans. That's obviously anybody playing the Texans is intriguing. The Chargers, who have not really been usable all year, they're intriguing to me this week as well. Armchair Canadan said, "Hey, you big dumb bear! Sorry, I can't be on this morning. Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to you too, brother. We appreciate you and hope you're having a great time with the kiddo. And we will see you in the new year." He's been fighting the good fight to get money from dirtbags, which, yeah, trust me, I know that fight. We appreciate you, brother, and hope you have a Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Camplin, the Dallas hype is insane. The Eagles' D-line straight up is better than the Cowboys. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do not understand the Cowboys hype. I know Vegas loves to manipulate Cowboys fans because they gamble like drunk children, but it gets to a certain point where you're like, but for why do you keep doing this? But for why? This team is not as good as they are pawned off to be, and it just irks me. It irks me so bad. Gray Ford said, "Start a battle with Barstool." I like Portnoy. I can't even lie and say that I don't. I do like Portnoy a lot. I also have my own take on the one bite. Everybody knows the rules. It's not with pizza because I couldn't do that because to me all pizza is good. Like even the shittiest pizza I've ever had in my life was awesome. So it would be hard for me to critique that. However, there is a food that I am really picky about, and I like it a lot, and there are a lot of places within a very close proximity where you can get this food. Might be seeing that in the new year with a new little toy I just bought myself for Christmas. Armchair asked, am I in on the Lions D today? I am not. I think Sam Darnold can keep this close. I'm not sure Carolina doesn't win. And if you're talking about on DraftKings, I can't figure out how you're not playing the Eagles. They're $2,200. That's 100 more than the Seattle Seahawks, who are Gnarls Barkley going up against Pat Mahomes. So I'm not in on the Lions. I mean, I understand how you get there. I like too many pieces for the Panthers today. DJ Moore, like him a lot. And they have gotten way better in the last few weeks. I don't love this matchup. And then he just randomly said KJ Osborne. That must be his cheap player of the week, which I get. If I'm playing a cheap player, Isaiah Hodgins or Marquise Goodwin. I like both. Kamara over under 100 total yards. I would say over. I like Kamara so much today. And I know he has bitten me. I know it's been a bitch. I get it. That Cleveland defense sucks. So I feel like somebody's going to do it. The only thing that scares me about Kamara and the reason that he is not in my DraftKings lineup is Taysom Hill. Eric Miller asked if I was going to the porch today. If anybody goes, let me know. I mean, I'm going to be upstairs. My wife's cooking. She's making a huge feast for Christmas Eve. And so I will be back home. If I do go, I will be back home before, 5 o'clock. But if somebody goes, let me know, and I'll meet you down there. Worst case scenario, shoot me a text. I'll come down and have a beer with you. It's a great place to watch a game. But I have also not seen Red Zone one time all year. So there's part of me that's like, well, I could watch this from my couch. Rob Kane, Jawan Johnson or Cade Otton. I'm all over Jawan Johnson today. All he does is catch touchdowns, and they have nobody else that will contend in the red zone. So I'm all aboard the Jawan Johnson hype train. John, 2 questions. Start Brandon Cooks or Romeo Doubs? It's Romeo Doubs. And start the Saints, Bengals, or Rams D. It's not the Rams. With no Aaron Donald, they just seem to be shutting that shit down. I don't hate the Saints. I would probably go the Bengals. I mean, the last time I saw Mac Jones play in weather like this, he threw 4 times. So, and he could very well be in his scuba suit again. So, yeah, it's the Bengals. All right, we are all caught up on questions. So if anybody has any last-minute questions here, we got about 10 minutes left before the inactives come out. And that was the line that I had pretty much drawn of I will do this until the inactives come out. Merry Christmas to you as well, Gage Camplin. He says he's heading out. And from all of us here, we hope you all have a Merry Christmas. I am not going to be moving much. My parents live 10 minutes down the street from us. So the big, gigantic Platinum Reserve Nissan Titan, it's not going far. But I learned this morning, I don't really care weather-wise what happens. That truck will go through anything. I went down a snowy hill and I didn't even really notice it was snowing. Oh. All right, we're on the last push here. If you got any last-minute questions, we will go through inactives at 11:30, and that will be about the time that I get out of here. We appreciate all of you joining in here, all of your contributions over the course of the year. It's been such a great year, and we thank all of you for that. Let's see. Eric Bradley, Sanders, Kamara, Mixon. I would go Kamara there. If I had to pick between those 3, it's Kamara. I like a few guys in the lower tier, McKinnon, J.K. Dobbins. I like them better than the 3 of them for their price, but out of those 3, it's Kamara. Logan Trevino, Mike Williams, or Devin Singletary in the flex. I'm leaning Mike Williams. I would lean Devin Singletary, and I'll tell you why. Mike Williams probably gets Stephon Gilmore, and that is not a great that's not a great matchup for him. So I would lean Devin Singletary. I mean, Williams has the higher upside. If you need the safe play, it's Devin Singletary. if you're shooting for the moon in a matchup you don't think you're going to win, Mike Williams definitely has the higher upside. White Boy M, J.K. Dobbins, Ken Walker, David Montgomery. I like all three. I am in like with David Montgomery. I am in real like with Ken Walker. I am in love with J.K. Dobbins today. So I am all aboard the J.K. Dobbins hype train. Patrick Holt says, everybody stay safe and warm. Have a happy Christmas. Eric Bradley, thanks for the great year. Thank you. We couldn't have done any of this without you. As much shit as I catch on Twitter and YouTube comments, these hour-long sessions with you guys these are the best parts of my day. That's one of the reasons that I told HWA, I gotta go do this. It's playoff time. These guys got questions. I gotta answer it. So she may or may not understand that. I also had a package that was supposed to be coming here for her today, and it is not going to make it. So you win some, you lose some. Jonna, should I start Romeo Dubs or Curtis Samuel? I would go Romeo Dubs. I just don't like anything for Washington. That's one of those games that I'm avoiding like grim death. And I do like Romeo Dubs. I could see Dubs having a huge game tomorrow. That Miami defense is another one that is grossly overrated. Rob Kane, Darnold or Prescott? Now that is a hell of a question. And I am going to have to go to my ranks. And I managed to not have to hit the cold beverage for 53 minutes. Oh, but I was starting to lose my voice. So, I have Dak slightly ahead of Sam Darnold, but I like the matchup for Darnold way better. If you're asking for DFS, it is no doubt Darnold because he's so much cheaper. But now if you're asking for season long, ride with Dak. He got you here. You got to ride it out.
I'm your huckleberry.
David Elliott, thanks for doing this, Jeremy. We appreciate you guys. I just got into fantasy football this year and learned a ton for the show. Grab some of those little Debbie Christmas trees on the way home. You're just a gent and a scholar. I actually am going to the grocery store, and I hadn't even thought, this is going to be the last time I get a shot at those. So thank you for your super chat. Thank you for the kind words. We're glad to have you with us. And it's shit like that's what, between that and the things we've been able to do for charity this year, that makes it all worth it. The long nights, the all of the things. Hey, my wife appeared in the chat. She said she understands. Besides, she's cooking. And she said, Merry Christmas, everyone. She is the kinder of the two of us, for sure. Such an understanding woman. And you know what? This is going to be self-serving. I got to thank her, too. She's put up with a whole lot of nights where I didn't get home till the sun had been down for a long-ass time. So, honey, looking forward to a week off with you and that wonderful rib roast, whatever the fuck that thing is, that I don't think I've ever eaten one, but it looks delicious. JT Money, DFS Minshew or Geno stack today? I like both. I'm going heavy Minshew, AJ Green, AJ Brown, because I think they're going to try to prove a point of, hey, Trayvon Diggs is not nearly as good as you think he is, and watch what A.J. Brown did to him. But a Geno stack with Marquise Goodwin is very cheap, and I think will be very contrarian. So if you're playing in a tournament, that Geno stack is pretty tasty. 8 Sports, Mike Williams or Deontay Johnson, PPR. I'll go Deontay Johnson. I know that sounds weird, but I really hate this matchup for Mike Williams. And this is going to sound cynical, and I never try to forecast injuries or things like that. It's time for Mike Williams to get hurt again. That's the reason I've always avoided him like grim death, because he gets hurt about every 4 weeks. Because he treats his body like he's a crash test dummy. So I will go Deontay Johnson, especially in PPR. They're either going to completely ignore Deontay Johnson, or they're going to try to get him right, and I think it's the latter. Soaring Eagle. Do I start Tua against Green Bay, Russ against the Rams, or Daniel Jones against Minnesota? It's got to be Tua. That's one of those where I would say even a bad game for Tua outscores the other two. I couldn't advise you to play Russ Unless you get points for eye rolls from teammates, I couldn't justify playing Russell Wilson under any stretch of the imagination, even against a Rams defense that is both not good and appears to have quit. Michael Meadows, who are your top 5 tight ends today? Let's go to the rankings. Travis Kelce is my 1. TJ Hawkinson is my 2. Taysom Hill is my 3. Mark Andrews is my 4. Dalton Schultz is my 5. And then you get into a sweet tier of Darren Waller, Dallas Goedert, George Kittle, Pat Freiermuth. I like Pat Freiermuth a lot. Because the matchup is sweet. And then the next tier is the Dawson Knox, Greg Dulcich, Cole Kmet, Noah Fant, Juwan Johnsons. Let's see. JT Money, J.K. Dobbins or McKinnon? How about both? I'm not telling you I'm playing both. Also not telling you I'm not playing both. Because you're contending against me for that sweet belt that's behind my head. So, yeah. I can't tell you that I'm not. Can't tell you that I am. But I like both. A lot. And they're both cheap. Soaring Eagle, do I start the Cowboys defense against Gardner Minshew or the Lions defense against Carolina? I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like either one of them. If I had to pick one, it'd be the Lions because I think the Eagles are going to deep dick the Cowboys. Which is also why I have a good number of pieces of that game today. Everything else I have is in the 1 o'clock slate, if that tells you anything. JT Money said, much love, HWA, for sharing. Jeremy, absolutely. She is very generous with her time, even more so than a lot of people know. Matthew Hoffman, McKinnon or Pacheco? It's McKinnon for me by a lot. I just feel like they trust Pacheco less and less by the day. The fumble last week hurt him. McKinnon's outsnapped him 3 weeks in a row, and they obviously trust McKinnon. And this is a very gettable matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. JT Money said 9 months later, there shan't be a baby. You got 2 people here that can't do that. My wife said it's a standing rib roast. Prime. Oh, it's prime rib. Oh, why did we not just say that from the get-go? That roast thingy works too. You called it a roast. Hell, I didn't know it was a prime rib. A big dumb animal. I eat animals. And they're delicious, especially when you make them. Doesn't mean I know what they are at all times. Should be getting inactives here any second. Have not gotten them for any team yet. Other than the 2 that played on Thursday, which is not going to do you a whole lot of good. The only other person that came into work today, Randy Houston, was just walking out the door. Greatest voice in the history of time. He will also be our new open in the new year. If you've been with us for a long time, he is the guy that I don't remember what the setup of this was. I think it was on Valentine's Day. And we were talking about cheating on people's wives and shit. And he breaks in with this great baritone radio voice and said, if you're going to cheat on somebody's wife, make sure to do it with a Russell Stover chocolate. And it's the funniest shit. I laughed for half an hour. Randy's a great guy. I was stunned to see him walk through that door, though. Thought I would be the only one in the building today. Still waiting on inactives. Damn, we're at 11:30 and I don't have any. That's rare. Let's go to the old tweet and see if we've got anything there. Oh, there's the Bills. Boogie Basham's the only one that, and no Mitch Morse. That doesn't do a whole lot for me. The Bears don't have any offensive linemen. No Cody Whitehair, no Tevin Jenkins, no Chase Claypool, no Equanimous St. Brown. The Lions are missing Michael Brockers again. That does not surprise me. No, Jadeveon Clowney for the Browns, but we already knew that. Sam Hubbard, already knew that for the Bengals. Oh, Seahawks inactive. Oh, no, wrong day. I was about to be, holy shit. I'm going to have to unwind some things. Wrong day. The Falcons who make me click on their inactives. You shitbirds. And, of course, there's nobody there that I care about. Soaring Eagles that just picked up the Titans against Houston. Are they a better start than the Lions? Absolutely. Armchair asked, who is the best high-end wide receiver today? It's Justin Jefferson. I just can't find a way to get there in DraftKings because he's so damn expensive. He's $9,300. I feel damn sure that he is going to have a great day. I just can't get there monetarily. I just can't make the money work because there's so many other things I want, and he screws all of that up. Swift or Sanders from Eric Bradley. It's Miles Sanders. I can't trust DeAndre Swift. I just it's hard to trust him anyway, and just not getting the touches. Even and I thought once they got back into the playoff race, you would start seeing it, and it just never happened. Michael Meadows, Merry Christmas to Jeremy, HWA, Tank, and Armchair. You guys have made my 2022. Best wishes for the new year, and same to you. We appreciate you greatly. Merry Christmas to you and yours from us and ours. And to all of you, the wonderful listeners of the show that make it a lot of fun to come to work every day. Eric Bradley, best cheap tight end. I'm going to assume you're not asking this for season long because you said cheap. Juwan Johnson's the one that is screaming at me. If I had to go another route, God, it gets tough. Greg Dulcich is tomorrow, so that probably doesn't. I mean, you could do worse than Cole Kmet, but I feel like he's probably reasonably expensive. I nested on Juwan Johnson, and that or just pay up to Travis Kelce. Because Travis Kelce's going to have a bajillion yards today. But like I said about Justin Jefferson, it gets really hard to build a lineup if you do it that way. Although, since I do give out a free lineup every week, I feel like one with Travis Kelce and Justin Jefferson is just screaming for me to hand out. I have to be reasonably patient with me here because I don't have Tank and Armchair to banter back and forth while I'm doing this. Because this is live off the dome piece. Let's go 10 games right there. All right, so if you started your lineup differently than I did, and you go Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, which gives you a great upside. You go the Eagles defense. Quarterback, I'm going to go as cheap as you. You know what? I'm doing it. I'm going Taysom Hill. I'll go Taysom Hill at quarterback. If this winds up working, it will make me look way smarter than I am. Then I'll go J.K. Dobbins, Jerick McKinnon. My two cheap receivers, Isaiah Hodgins of the Buffalo Bills and Marquise Goodwin. And then with 5,600 left in the flex, DJ Moore. Ta-da. So it'd be Taysom Hill. Running backs are J.K. Dobbins, Jerick McKinnon. Receivers are Justin Jefferson, Isaiah Hodgins, Marquise Goodwin, DJ Moore. Tight end is Travis Kelce. Defense is the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm throwing that in a $3 lineup, and you watch it outscore my big lineup. Just to piss me off, because that's what fantasy football does. That is what fantasy football does. Oh, getting oof. Baltimore Ravens. That is an ugly, ugly, ugly list of inactives. Calais Campbell, Kenyon Drake, Lamar Jackson, David Ajabo, and Marcus Peters all out today. Poor Baltimore. God, they just live killed. Not really seeing anything else on the inactives that's sending me. No Marshawn Lattimore, but I think we all already knew that. Pete Werner's out. Peyton Turner, Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry. The Saints are killed. All right. Well, boys and girls, I think that's a 2022. It's been a great year. I will have some content out next week. Draft things. We got a couple surprises for you in the new year. If you're new, it'll be something you've never heard before. If you've been here for a while, it'll be something you heard that went very much by the wayside, and we have a real emphasis on in the new year. You're going to see a lot of our faces. You'll see a lot of the new studio. I want to thank Tank personally for all of his assistance as the second in this little soiree that we do every day. I want to thank all of you for being here, supporting the things, all of the super chats, all of the likes, all of the shares, all of the everything. They truly mean more than we could ever say. And from the bottom of our hearts, I want to thank you guys and tell you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we will see you in the new year.